What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry, where we give you software engineering by example. Welcome to another ArcGIS JavaScript API episode. And this episode, I want to take this application to the next level. I want to make it more professional, if you will. So yeah, I want to start. Uh, so the past month or so, I've been experimenting with different editors and different technologies, and I fall in love with Node.js and I start working more with Node.js. And I want to start using the Node.js more into our application here. And plus, I discovered another great editor called Visual Studio Code. So we're gonna start using that instead of Sublime Text. So yeah, so here what you see is our GitHub repo with episode 21. That's the last episode we did, and I'm gonna start fresh. Wherever you are now, you'll be at the same stage at me, right? I'm gonna start fresh. I'm just gonna clone this repo and start working up to actually serve this HTML page or this work with Node.js instead of whatever we were doing before, right? So let's start doing that. Okay, so just if you're using Mac, that'll be like the easiest thing here. And yeah, if you're using Windows, you can pretty much do the same thing. It's just a bunch of commands. So go ahead and before you do that, go ahead and install Node.js. I'm going to reference here how to install it. It's just very simple. Just go ahead and install it. Go ahead and install Git, so you can get the Git command. So there's two things you need, and that's pretty much it. So let's go to the command prompt here, and I created a folder called Web Apps. So let's go to this. It's empty now. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna create. I am going to clone this repo into this folder, but that will actually create a new folder called the repo name. So GS API 4x. So let's go ahead and just copy, then literally just git clone and then paste. That in few seconds we got ourselves a nice folder here, and now we can control ourselves with this. Now we have a full clone of this application. So that's the first step. We have cloned the app. The next is we're gonna make this application nodable, right? So that we want Node to start recognizing that. So to do that, you have to do npm, which stands for Node Package Manager, and then you just do init. So this folder becomes our project. And let's go ahead and initialize that. All right, so what do you want a package name? Call it JSON, version, escape, description, index.js, that's the start of the application. All right, so let's keep it index.js. And test command, we're gonna leave this empty now. Get repo, default, accept all the default, and then just say yes. And just like that, we have initialized the Node Package Manager and the Git in this folder. So this folder has both these two pieces of information. So we have package.json, and this is very important when we start editing that file. But we're missing another file where we actually start our application, right? So before we do that, we need one more package in Node called Express, and that will help us serve the pages or the static pages that we have, in this case ig.html. So Express is a very simple app that it's a package extension of Node that helps you do a lot of things, and one of the things, the small thing that it does, is help you serve files, and it helps you listen to a specific port, so we have more flexibility. So let's go ahead and install this. So to install this, you can npm install express, and in a few seconds, we installed express in that, right? So that is really cool and simple, right? So that actually installs some other files. So that package, that folder now have all this work in us, and we can start writing some app. So let's jump in and open our Visual Studio Code. Again, just Google that, download it. It's free. It's really cool. And I just opened Visual Studio Code, and the moment we do that, we're gonna open a folder. And guess what? That's the folder. That's the same folder we're working on, GS API for X. Let's just go ahead and do that, and yeah, that's the folders, and these are the files, and this is our file. We're going to change that to make it point to the public server of JS, the JavaScript API. We're going to do that, and we will need the index.js file, which will be the start of our application. So let's go ahead and create index.js. Index.js, so it's a JavaScript file. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a constant variable here. It's not a constant variable. That's all right. So this is a little small. I don't know if we can make it bigger. Can we make this bigger? We'll start to figure it out. File, preferences, settings, text editor, editor.font size. Let's make this 18. All right. Did that work? I do not see that working. Save. Ooh, it did work. All right. Is that better, guys? Let's make it 24. Nice. All right, that's much better, I think. So we're going to create a new constant called app, and then that constant is equal require, and that we're going to import the express. We're going to import the express application here, and then we'll create an app. And to create an app is basically we're going to invoke that express variable. And just like that, we have an app now. So this app will allow us to do a lot of work. And one of the things we wanted to do here is, for simplicity, we wanted to listen to a port in our application. And the beauty of this is you can specify the port. So I'm going to say, unlike IIS, where you have to do so much stuff, right, just to do that simple thing. Let's go ahead and do listen. I'm going to listen on port 8080 because that's my favorite port. And then when that happens, you're going to call a callback. And we're going to use a simple arrow function here. Then just say console.log and say we are live on port 8080. Right? I mean, we can always put the port as a constant and do all this kind of things. So now that we did that, we will go ahead and go back to command terminal and do npm run. So when I do that, I'm going to get an error. And the reason is the application doesn't know where to start yet, right? We need to tell the application, hey, when I say npm run, I want to start with calling the index.js. How do I do that? Remember this file, package.json? That allows you to do that. So remember these scripts? This script is actually very beautiful. When you do npm run, you will be allowed to specify a label and then run different command based on that. So since we're just doing simple things here, let's create a script called start, and then that script is literally called node index.js. That means run the index.js using Node.js. If you are using Ubuntu or some Linux, it's just Ubuntu in specific, you'll have to say Node.js. It's just like Node was taken for some reason, or you have to do some sort of workaround to do that, get around that. And if we did that and saved, obviously, go back and do npm run, and then we get a label says start, one label, right? Okay. We're gonna do npm run, and then there's one label called start, so I'm gonna call that start. And we actually are live on port 8080. Simple, right? But now we're still not done. So what do you want to do is here, right? So we need to start serving the current directory as HTML files, right? As static files. So what we want to do is basically call app.use, and then we do app.static. If I'm not, oh, I'm sorry, it's express.static, and then we're going to serve the current directory just like that. That means serve me the current directory, which is include any HTML file, include that, right? So let's give it a shot, right? Control C and then npm run start. And then if I go back here and just say http Hussein Mac 8080 and then ig.html, I will be served that page. But there are some problems here. What do we have here? We have a lot of errors. And the reason is because it's trying to locate ig.html, trying to locate the what? Hussein Mac 8080, which doesn't exist, right? So I can actually start copying that folder into the same path, and that should work. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to start pushing the API into my Git repo just for copyright issues. I don't want to get into trouble. So what I'm going to do here is actually replace that to point to the public instances. So js.arcgis.com, I think. Let's just move to 4.6. Why not, right? And then same thing here. Save, and then I think we're going to need to close that, restart, and then just like that, refresh. That will start pulling the HTML, and hopefully we're lucky enough that the site is not down. Looks like we have a limited number of calls to make to the ArcGIS website, right? But yeah, looks like the site is down, but yeah, it was up and down a second ago. I think what we have here is like the site limits the number of API calls to it, right? Unless you pull the offline version first, right? So we can, I guess, if we don't. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull the offline version just to show you that it actually works, right? So yeah, we're gonna copy that. Remember where did we put our stuff, guys? We put it on node modules, HTTP server, then this folder, right? Copy. Then we're gonna copy that, but I'll remember to remove it just to show you guys that this actually works. So let's go ahead and actually paste it here. And just like that, this will be added to the repo, right? So this is copying the entire API, which you can obviously download from the ArcGIS website. All right, now, so the Git repository just discovered that file. That's cool about the Visual Studio. I really like it. So now we're gonna actually undo that work, which is ridiculous. But yeah, let's just try that out now. When we start again, I am hoping that this will actually work, and obviously it does. Right? So I'm gonna delete that code just in case. I'm gonna push the code which has the public API in instead. But yeah, I wanted to start doing that so I can start simply making a change and pushing. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute now. I'm going to show you how to push a new code, which is episode 22 right now. All right, now that we did that, and I know that this will work, so I'm going to actually go and undo that work. http js.arcgis.com and https js.arcgis.com, and then we do that. Then let's go ahead and just delete that because I don't want to push this, right? Now that we did that, I think our stuff is ready, right? Obviously, might not work, but it will work after maybe 30 minutes or so, right? Because there's like a limit of the number of calls that you can make. Anyway, we proved that it works, right? So we'll just assume that it works. Okay, so now that I have everything ready, I have all my project ready, let's go ahead and push that change, right? So to do that, we're gonna do git add. I'm gonna add all my work to that small branch that I add, just call it, and then I do git commit. I'm gonna commit my changes, and I'm gonna say this is episode 22, right? And just like that, it creates everything, right? And then what we do is basically git push, and just like that, this will be pushed to the public Git repo. And if I refresh that, we don't need it anymore, sir. If I refresh that, I now have the full files and I have everything here. Now if I delete that, I don't really care because I can always reclone and then run that. So now guys, if you cloned this at this stage, all you have to do is just npm install, and you don't have to install Express and do all the work that I did. npm install, it will detect, say, oh, this guy has this packages and he needs Express, so I'm going to install Express for you. Once you do that, npm run start and you're done. See, 2 or 3 commands and you're done. That's the beauty of Node, and the packaging and the deployment stuff is really coolish. Alright guys, subscribe if you like this video. Check out my books on HusseinNasser.com. I have a lot of books that I wrote on ArcGIS technology. Check it out. Check out that if you want to learn the geodatabases and JavaScript and a lot of other books. Right? I had original almost 4 books there. Check out. It will support the channel, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Goodbye.